Hey everybody, welcome back to Junk Drawer. This is episode 9. Can you guys believe it? This is episode 9. I am Samuel,
I'm Tony.
I'm Brian.
and this is Junk Drawer. Welcome back, welcome back. We are always happy that you guys always return to enjoy our content and that we enjoy you being here as well.
So this episode, we're trying it online because of certain complications. We couldn't get together today, but we still wanted to record. So we're gonna try doing it online call for the podcast. We're using Discord. So yeah, just that's why Sam and Brian sound lower quality than I do. If we ever do this in the future, we'll probably have better equipment and we'll probably sound better. Yeah, the more
One step at a time.
Yeah, one step at a time. But for now, this is what we got. This is what we're working with.
Yep.
It helps a lot, actually still having something to actually be able to interact with each other and actually do this for you guys because we actually do enjoy making this content for all of our listeners all the time. Now, last time on our last episode, we talked about a certain group actually going for the Capitol building because that's like a big current thing that actually happened. But yeah, as I was saying, there's some things going on out in the world, about the Capitol building and whatnot, and in which the people actually did manage to get in. Me personally, I think it's a little bit ridiculous how it was done, things that happened in it. My perspective on life is definitely, there's always a better way for everything, which is why I really don't choose sides because I think every side sometimes makes mistakes, because there's always a better way to handle any problem and or fix any situation.
Yeah.
But that's just my go-to. But today this episode is probably going to be all around and everywhere, but there are some key points that we just want to address, being updates on certain things and or just some slice of life, if you will. Type stories.
Do you guys know what really happened after they got into the Capitol building? Like, yes, of course
I do know quite a bit.
I know they looted stuff and they kind of like trashed the place, but what really happened?
There's a whole thing about feces.
Feces.
There's a whole thing about feces.
Yes, they defecated and decided to have footprints and smear all over the place, and things were stolen, and people took pictures of it. Things when parents tell you like don't go places where people have phones and stuff because once it hits the internet, it's going to be everywhere. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I think that's a prime lesson for everybody that's growing up with a phone.
Mm-hmm.
So them getting into the Capitol was really more of just them trying to kind of trash the place and make a statement about who's going into
about
the
how
White
they
House.
felt about the office and whatnot.
Or it was about the Senate, right? Because the Capitol building was where the Senate is, correct?
It's just about
I don't know
everything going on. I think Senate and House are there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest.
I think
I'm
one's
not
on one wing and the other's on the other wing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't completely. I don't know a whole lot about the situation, and I, other than what I learned from my government class in high school, which I don't remember at least half of it.
Sorry for every government teacher I've ever had.
Yeah. I don't. I'm just gonna put that out there that I don't know a whole lot about politics, about government. I mean, I know what most people know and maybe a little bit more, but
But you know enough to know that what happened is just not right.
I mean,
no, it's not. It's never right.
No.
Well, in the moment, of course, I think it sounds. Of course, people are gonna think like this is crazy. This is not right. This is, bizarre, and but it when you look back on it like years and years from now, maybe they'll see it in a different light. Maybe they'll see it a different way because I mean, I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about it. Obviously, my initial thought is to think this is crazy and it's wrong and it's, it's it's like over the top. But you know, I did feel the same way when back when Trump was elected, because there were riots in the streets, if I
Oh
remember
yeah,
Oh
correctly.
yeah,
Yeah,
DC turned into like a mini war zone for a little bit.
yeah. That
that was pretty big.
people are. It really seems like people are overreacting, and I think they are. A lot of people are like overreacting about this.
Yeah,
You
and I
know,
don't disagree. There needs to be change, but this is just not the way to go about it.
um,
It's not. It never is.
Hmm.
None of violence is an answer, but it's never the proper answer. If you ever have to turn to violence to solve a situation, I will be completely real with you. You've already lost half the battle
Hmm.
because you put yourself in
well,
a situation to where everybody's going to see you in that light. Don't get me wrong. With the things that happen at the Capitol, yeah, don't get me wrong. The people have a right to express how they feel. But if you're going to go ahead and damage government property at that,
Yeah, a
it
federal
seems like a bit,
building.
yeah, that seems like a bit much. Don't get me wrong. I kind of saw something like this happen because people are gonna be like, "Oh no, it's not right. It's cheating." Yada yada yada. Well, I, first of all, cheaters never prosper, but cheaters do win. Anyways, that's more of a side joke. I really didn't mean that, but it just seemed like as if they didn't have any other option. And a lot of people were
Yeah.
comparing it to the Black Lives Matter protest, which is completely different. Like when a lady who went, she was a veteran, I believe, and she ended up dying because she did what she did, obviously, while she was there. I do believe that she never should have died. Not at all. I don't believe that she should have died. But with her dying, it's a big shock to a lot of people. They're like, oh my God, she died, yada yada yada. And then people are comparing to the protest, and they're like, well, people are getting beat up, bruised, and everything for just trying to equalize the matter that obviously Black Lives Matter, and it's not the fact that we are fighting African Americans people and everybody else are fighting for that white people should get beat up too all the time. No, we're just fighting for the fact that we should be treated equally.
Hmm.
So that's why I feel like this capital situation doesn't entirely associate itself with the Black Lives Matter protest. There are some key points in the Capitol building stuff that seemed completely wrong in
Yeah.
my eyes, but I do think that those are still two different topics in a sense.
yeah, there definitely were a lot of differences between those two things. Um,
Especially since a lot
especially
of the police in DC, like DC Metro, they let a lot of it happen.
Yeah, that
that's
was a little disturbing.
that's true. I did see a couple of videos of like people, some of the
They got out of
cops.
their way and then
Yeah,
let them
and let them
march
in.
on the building.
Um, that I feel like is kind of a complicated situation. Which of course there are. I've heard of cops who were there that were supporting people breaking into the Capitol, which
Hmm.
which is pretty bizarre to me. I think but there were also someone that I was talking to made the argument that all those people were probably holding guns, and I'm sure a lot of them actually were holding guns. So if a cop were to point a gun at them, um, obviously those people are gonna pull their guns on them. So you kind of
Yeah,
get,
retaliation.
if that were to happen, you get this situation where maybe one or a few cops have guns on however many people were there, like hundreds of people have guns on them. Like if that were to happen, it, who do you think would win? That's a rhetorical question, obviously, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's probably what a
nobody.
lot of cops were afraid of. They didn't, you know, of course you could argue that it's their job to protect the people of the United States, and
Yeah,
it was their job to protect the Capitol building, but at the same time they're thinking, okay, what is more important at this time, at this specific point? Is my life more important than protecting this building that, if I remember correctly, everyone was evacuated before they got into the building. Is that
Yeah,
correct? Am I
It
correct
was
in that?
very
I believe so.
close. It was very close, but yeah, they were evacuated.
Most people were evacuated. I think some people were still in there, but um but like if like trying to put myself into one of those cops, like trying to put myself into their shoes, like what would I think? I would think,
Yeah, what
cuz like
what you're saying is nobody else wants to die. Nobody ever wants to die. Nobody
Yeah.
wants
right.
anybody to die. So what you're saying is completely true.
Yeah. You definitely think like I could die in this situation. Like I want to be here. This is my job to protect this my the people, this building. But do I really like? Is it worth it to die over? Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
like I'm already putting myself on the line as it is. Like I'm afraid. I'm afraid of losing my life right here. Do I really? It's really a hard situation. It's a really difficult decision to make. And that's why you see some of the cops kind of like cowering away, or if they were letting them through because they were supporting them, that's a completely different situation, but you don't know for a fact that some of those people were supporting them. Some of
Yeah.
those
Not
cops, you don't know for a fact that they were, which a lot of people are saying, all these cops
but
are supporting them, but
there are cops that were fighting back that they were not going to let the people in.
right,
Mhm.
And
there
there was
were
some there
cops.
was there was some case about, they were letting people in so that they could regroup farther in, which I think that tactic is a little ridiculous if you already have a higher number, because if you let them to the building, they're already going to trash it to be able to get in. Now
Yeah.
here's the big thing about your saying with things with guns. And this is when I said like it doesn't entirely cooperate with the Black Lives Matter protests and everything, but this is the part that does. When they were protesting everything, and they were ordered to stop them. They were tear gas, rubber bullets, and everything else.
Sandbag
They didn't
gun.
have, yeah, they basically didn't have that on hand at all. Rubber
Mm.
bullets won't kill you, but rubber bullets hurt, and nobody wants to be hurt. Nobody wants to die, but trust me, nobody would rather feel a pain. Because
Yeah.
that's like when we, yeah, that's like when we play airsoft. Nobody wants to get shot with a plastic BB. That stuff hurts.
That's why you try to avoid it.
Yeah, that's why you try to avoid it. Don't get me wrong, but like if that stuff wasn't on hand, and obviously that this had to be forthcoming, people had to have seen this on the way. They didn't have any of this on deck at all, so people weren't aware of that they may lose their lives or anything, or they didn't have anything that may hurt them. So they were ill prepared for the situation, but still letting them in. That's where I think this is kind of ridiculous.
Mhm.
What you're saying, Tony, is absolutely true. You're absolutely correct.
Right.
That
And
nobody wants to die.
I just wanted to bring up that point that nobody wants to die. Like, of course, their cops are going to be scared, but at the same time, it's kind of, I do agree with you that it's ridiculous that they kind of let them in, like the people who did.
And let it happen.
It's this whole situation is way more complicated than a lot of people want to make it out to be. There are like so many things in the world, so many situations like this that are really complicated, and people always tend to try to make it black and white, which
It's not.
it's almost always not.
Yeah.
There's so much to think about when these kinds of situations come up. And just going back really quick to the thing that you said about violence, that violence is never the answer. I would have to disagree with you on that, because and I know what you said, that like it can solve things, but it's not the right way to go about solving things, which I also agree about that. I of course I'd rather no violent actions need to be taken. When you go back and to think about, and this isn't the same situation, of course, the Revolutionary War, the thing that got us independence from Britain,
Mhm.
that was a whole violent situation.
It was.
That was a lot of protests, a lot of fighting, a lot of killing, a lot of raiding. Of course, there's a lot of rebelling against the government, and you hear about it in class. You hear about it in the history books of like how
Yeah.
the British were treating the colonists, and of course, that they were treating us kind of shitty when you learn about it.
Yeah.
Um, so of course people are gonna want to retaliate. So when they did, it was like it was a great thing when the colonists fought back and got their independence from Britain, and that's how America started.
Yeah.
That is one thing where or at least one instance where violence has gotten
Has
us somewhere.
created an answer.
Right.
Yeah.
And well, even this statement that I'm about to say, like, technically, yes. Do I not morally agree with what happened? In the Capitol, not necessarily, but it really wasn't. I should say it was illegal, but it wasn't unconstitutional.
Because
I think they could have took it a different way though.
They could have, but technically they were following the Constitution because
Take up
part of
arms against.
part of the Second Amendment is to take up arms against a corrupt and unjust government, and obviously unjust and or unfair is in the eye of the beholder,
right.
Yeah, that is a
Those
big
people
way to see it.
which is a
genuinely
very
believe.
dangerous thing to have written into a rule of laws.
Well, of course their idea is that like if there's a big enough if there's a big enough group of people that think that way, then it must be true to some extent.
Yeah.
But if you believe something truly in your heart and it's not true, it's hard to see that, especially with what's going on right now. A lot of people, it's definitely possible with this government. It is. I do believe that to some extent our government is corrupt. There are some things that are going on.
Well, there's no question.
Yeah. Yes, but that's why it's so hard to it's so hard to tell what's true and what's not.
Mhm.
And that group of people believe this specific thing, and that's why they went and raided the Capitol. Because in their eyes the government is unjust and corrupt.
Mhm.
I want to go back to when you talked about the Revolutionary War real quick before I jump back to what we're currently talking about. You're right, totally about the fact that people dying sometimes it's worth it entirely, but that that's something right there is huge because we're fighting for independence. We created a whole country out of it.
Yeah.
For now, let's jump forward to where the protests for Black Lives Matter. We were just fighting for equality, basically.
Right.
Again,
Which is
to be
it's a big thing.
yeah, it's a big thing. And then with the Capitol building being completely attacked, destroyed, raided, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
to take up arms, I don't think that is entirely the best way to
Necessary.
do it because not the entire country wants to take up arms for it.
Yeah.
It might be a decent portion of the country, yeah, for sure. But when the country is literally divided,
Yeah.
to I don't know what the ratio of percentage is of or what it even is close to, but that same instance could have been taken how the protests were for Black Lives Matter. Just stand out in front, saying it's unjust. Don't leave till 2 weeks later. Who cares?
Mhm.
But at the same time, the fact that they came in and trashed the place where that especially on how the government is, if it's so corrupt and everything, on how you view it, you will be specifically targeted once everything clears up. So if you aren't thinking a few steps ahead, no matter what the situation is, no matter what you are doing,
Mhm.
it's going to catch up with you in the end. They're literally looking for these people now and asking people for information for these specific people who are out there doing the most damage.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're on the run. They
Yeah.
they have pictures of themselves and there's video proof of them being there. So now they kind of have to be on the run. They can't,
Yeah. On the lam.
yeah, they can't just they
God
can't
damn
just
it.
they can't just the people are hunting after them. They
Yeah.
can't just
Yeah.
And I
Stop.
think the guy that took the podium or whatever, he made like an open apology or something. He felt so bad, whatever. I'm like, well, yeah, that's kind of what you get.
It's a little late now.
Yeah, like you didn't think of you holding a podium, getting ready to walk out the door, and somebody taking a picture of you with your thumbs up was gonna come back to you?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, cool.
Right. I mean, here's the thing: is that hindsight is 2020. It's a lot easier to see that something you did in the past was wrong, or well, yeah, just wrong.
Yeah.
Um, but of course, in the moment, especially in a kind of situation like that where you're mad and you're pumped up, and everyone else is doing this kind of shit. Of course, you're gonna think, hey, I want to do this too. I want to partake in this because everyone else is. Um, obviously you don't think of that in the moment.
Yep.
You're just kind of, your mind is in the moment. You're not
I
thinking
do.
about the future
I think,
repercussions a
because
lot.
I'd be scared. I'd be scared.
I think it would be kind of hard to think rationally in that situation if like
I would have been like, I'm not going.
your adrenaline levels.
Seriously.
Well, yeah, right. I would think the same thing. Like, even if I agree with the people that are going to do this thing, I don't think I would go because you know chances are someone disagrees with me, or a group of people disagree with me, and chances are I don't know everything about the situation that
Yep.
you know that I have of this opinion of, which is what I was saying earlier. Like, I don't know everything about the situation. I don't know. It's impossible to know everything about a kind of thing like this. You know, there
Yeah.
are a lot of people involved in this kind of thing. It's
And
it's
there's
a
no way you
group.
could know
There's
everything they were
yeah,
thinking.
right. There's no way to know everything, which is why I can't. I can form an opinion from what I know, but I can guarantee you there are things that I don't know that could change my opinion on this whole situation, and probably that will change my opinion if should I hear about it. Because I'll tell you, when I first heard about it, of course I thought it was completely ridiculous and reckless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are things that came up after the fact in social media that when I saw it, changed my opinion a little bit of it. And again, it's impossible to know everything, and
Everything.
it's impossible to form the correct
There's
opinion in
two
quotes.
sides to every story.
Hmm.
There's a lot of sides to this.
Yeah, it's the
This
story.
particular
Yeah.
story.
It's like a Rubik's cube that's nowhere near finished.
And ever changing.
Oh yeah. The only thing which I already said earlier that still sets me off is when the veteran had died, and then a couple of the people who were against Black Lives Matters were comparing her death to it, and I'm kind of like, you can't do that. Oh,
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say you can't do that, but I'm highly against it because I just think that's rude. First of all, because she died doing something she necessarily wasn't supposed to. You know,
Hmm.
going against the government entirely in a way of, which I'm not trying to speak down on her. I do feel bad that she did die. You know, because death isn't right. I don't think anybody deserves death. But when you compare it to something such as just trying to be a peaceful protest, don't get me wrong, during the Black Lives Matter protests, some things that went completely wrong and ridiculous, like the looting and stuff. I don't think that was just an excuse. I think that part was dumb. And if you were a part of that, you should get yourself checked. Anyways, before somebody else checks you. But when we were out there peacefully protesting, just trying to prove that our lives matter, you know, but then you go ahead and put it next to someone who literally went onto government property because they felt as if one person should have been in charge, when there's the other half of the country that says no.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're in the right for that at all, for making that comparison.
And
I
the
agree.
riots. It's the same way. The riots that happened when when Trump was elected. I don't agree with that either.
Neither, I don't either.
Yeah,
Not at all.
he was elected, for a reason, and
Yep.
again, people can believe the
Agree or
same
disagree
thing,
with that.
that people are believing now, just on the other side. Um, but you don't know for a fact if that is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 100%.
And and I do agree with you that that's not quite the same situation. How they're comparing the deaths.
Yeah.
But of course they believe that. Of course
Mhm.
that side believes that it's the same thing, and there are a lot of similarities, I will say, but there are also differences and key, there are key differences that make them different, that
Mm-hmm.
make them different situations. And things happened the way they did. Um
And at this, and this, there's no way you can switch back the clock and change that.
yeah,
Hope what's done is done.
It's just
Ugh. Yeah, that was pretty. It's pretty deep topic.
but yeah, now that we got that through, we can talk about some other lighter topics. Do you guys have
Um,
anything that you want to talk about?
I will say, this 2021 and uh, this new animes come out in 2021. Okay, so when you guys like anime and haven't been paying attention, look up all
Oh,
the ones that come out in January.
there is a large list.
Yes, 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 there
I uh
is.
I need to get on Attack on Titan,
Yep,
the
you sure
English
do.
dub. Yeah, cuz I remember I remember anticipating it for December, but I'm like, oh, but the English dub's probably going to come out later, which I thought it was going
Hmm.
to come out like months later maybe.
Oh no, they lately they've been keeping a lot of stuff on track when
Yeah.
it comes to stuff like that
And
because the times that be.
are they releasing it per episode like they
I'm
did with
pretty
season
sure
3?
they
Yeah.
are.
Okay. I'll have to look that up to see
The
where I can
time I was
watch it at.
reincarnated as a slime comes out in this January, and I am so excited.
Attack on Titan is like the one anime I've been pretty much the only anime I've ever been super excited for. Uh it's I can't really express how or why I like it. I just do. I love it so much. It's my most favorite anime in the entire world. It's dark. It's it's really dark.
Dark.
It's gory. It's
It's dark.
it's dark, and it's dark. Oh,
And
and
it's
it's really
dark.
dark. It's really dark.
It's be
Oh man, it
yo
must be dark.
yo them shades, pretty dark.
Yeah, I really like. I don't know what it
Dark.
is, but I really like dark and depressing stories like The Last of Us. Those, like, both games, those are really depressing stories, but I really love the aesthetic of
Dang, I should write an
eh,
autobiography then. Anyways,
um
nah.
but on another note, speaking of piercings, I've been thinking about getting a tattoo. I
Oh
mean
yeah,
I've always wanted to get a tattoo ever since I was a teenager.
get a small one.
I still technically am a teenager, but ever since I was like 13, 14 maybe, I wanted to get tattoos. I have my same friend Courtney who did my piercings, my lip piercings. I have her drawing up a design of
Tattoo your balls.
no, I don't think I want to do that. Do you think anyone's ever tattooed
Yes.
their
Dude,
balls?
there are people who are 90% covered in tattoos. I'm 100% there is tattoos on somebody's penis.
I know some people get penis piercings.
We can stop this conversation right now.
There's gotta be somebody with a tattoo. Dude, do you think there's somebody with a tanuki tattooed on their balls?
Oh my god.
And they have like testicular cancer, so they have giant balls. Why
I
don't
emulate Tanuki in everything I do in life.
why don't you explain, Brian, the thing about Tanukis
Tanuki and their
in
magical
Japan?
balls?
Yeah. Yeah, and their
Yeah.
magical balls in
I
Japan.
don't know what it is about Japan and their folklore, but for some reason, Tanuki. I mean, the animals themselves apparently have large balls, but in all of Japanese folklore, like there's just like pictures, like old tapestries of Tanuki, like using them as like a chair to fight off birds, to I don't know, like cross rivers in a raft made of ball.
What?
And it's just the weirdest fucking history I've ever seen, and I don't understand why, but it's hilarious.
What? No.
So that's a very
Don't ask me why
interesting.
not. The answer's no.
Okay, so I'm looking
There's an
at
anime store in Chicago. I think we should make a trip to go.
That sounds. We just need to go to
Just
Chicago because there's so many good restaurants too.
on jaw.
dude, I can't wait for fucking COVID to be over.
Well, there's a new strand of it, so get
A
ready
new
for part
strand of
two.
it. Cool.
There's two. There's one that popped up in Africa, and there's a couple that's popped up in England.
Good lord. We're all gonna die.
Now
Another
I'm waiting.
way to
If
tell
I'm
it's a
waiting.
man-made virus, right there.
I'm waiting.
Because natural spawning viruses like that don't mutate that fast.
I mean, hey, just look at. I don't have an excuse.
I mean, I don't have that much knowledge about how viruses work and how they evolve and how they, whatever. But I'm not gonna say much about it. But I mean, well, there are new strands of COVID, right? There COVID-19 is just the one that has really become the pandemic. And if I remember correctly, somebody was telling me that COVID has existed before, not COVID-19 specifically, but
Yeah.
the
Are we gonna increase the number?
coronavirus, because coronavirus is just like one of it is just having a common cold, right?
Yeah, there's different strands of it.
You know what I
So
think
I
is
mean,
actually happening?
so it could be that. Like, as far as I know, I don't really know about any new strands, but I feel like it could be that maybe it mutated over a long amount of time, and they just now found it or something, or
But 19
whatever.
is newer. That's why it's
Yeah.
like it's a mutated version of 19, which is why like
Oh.
everyone's baffled. Because it's like we just got these vaccines, and now it's like, oh, by the way, it's different now.
Okay, but all I'm gonna say is, like, God works in mysterious ways.
You know.
I knew something like that was gonna come out of your mouth.
No, but
what I
really,
think actually.
like, you can't really explain nature sometimes. There's just not an explanation. I'm not
And
denying.
I
I'm
don't
not.
disagree with that.
I'm not denying that.
It's weird.
I'm not denying that it could be definitely man-made. It definitely could be. I just don't believe it at this point. I just haven't seen a lot of solid evidence that it's man-made. That's all I'm gonna say. Of course it's a possibility, and I acknowledge that, but that's just what I think about it.
I believe that there are a group of scientists backed by one person from every country, and they're all sitting in a dark, enclosed room, sectioned off from each other, looking at a screen. Everybody at the same screen, but they all have like a little laptop or computer in front of them, and they're all playing Plague Inc. on their tablets, messing with the coronavirus.
And that's how the coronavirus
Yes.
is spreading.
They're all just sitting there
Real-time
playing Plague Inc. I love that game, honestly.
I've never played it, but I've seen people play it. It looks
Dude,
pretty
I played
fun.
it. I made a virus called penis worms.
Cool.
Yeah,
Sounds horrible.
it took over the world.
Penis worms took over the world?
Penis worms took over the world.
I guess it wasn't just strictly for penises.
Nope. Everybody turned into penis worms.
Well, so I've been sitting on this page for a while now, ever since we were talking about penis tattoos. I looked up to see if
What?
anyone had any penis tattoos. I wanted to see. So there's this. I've just this whole time I've just been like sitting here on this page, just. So a lot of these, what I looked up is I looked up the words penis tattoo, and a lot of them are just like people with penises.
A tattoo of a penis.
Yeah, a tattoo of a penis. Like this lady has a butterfly made out of penises tattooed on her forehead.
That's legit.
A lot of them are like a big penis on a guy's thigh, as if it were like poking out of the his shorts.
Solid.
Yeah. There's one guy that his entire body is tattooed, and it looks like including his penis, but it's blurred out, so I can't really tell. And then
He's
there's
just
another
Outlined
picture.
with the giant penis.
There's one specific picture that it looks like it definitely is his entire penis tattooed to look like part of a dragon. So it's like most of the body of the dragon, like the head and the tail, are on like his like upper thighs and like pubic region. But then there's like a part of the dragon that is his like foreskin and ball sack.
I'm gonna throw it.
Yeah, I don't know
taking
how.
my headphones off. Nope.
I don't know how
Couldn't have been
this.
comfortable.
I mean, it could not have, and it looks great, but
It looks great.
just imagine being the tattoo artist tattooing like this dude's penis. Like what goes through your mind when you first think like I wonder what was going through that person's mind when they got this. I wonder how expensive that tattoo must have been.
Tattoo?
Yeah.
Yep. Nope.
I'm just wondering how expensive that must have been.
It had to have been expensive.
But how much?
I don't know.
That's talking about dragon penis
To
tattoo.
literally tattoo a dragon cock.
Oh god.
It's not even a dragon penis, I don't think. It's just the dragon is a part of his penis. Or his penis is a part of the dragon.
They are one and the same. Sam, we're done talking about dragon penises.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm still looking at it. I'm just
Stop.
amazed by it.
No.
Just
You know what?
amazed by it.
I'm happy that you're the one looking at it.
Well, yeah. I've never seen anything like that. It's and by the way, I'm completely straight for anyone who is wondering like this guy's looking at he's just staring at a penis and he's amazed by it. Like I'm straight, you know. I have no desire to do anything like that to another male, but
You don't want to give another man a tattoo on his penis?
No. I mean, I'm not a tattoo artist by any means, but I would feel very uncomfortable giving a man a tattoo on his penis.
Why?
Yeah, specifically because like not so much because it's a man's penis. It is partly because of that, but mostly because I don't have the qualifications to be giving someone a tattoo on their penis, let alone giving a tattoo at all. Like,
you know, what's a funny thing about? I may have had this. I've told you guys this experience, but I'm kind of just putting this out there again. I have been approached by men that are not straight at Barnes and Nobles. Because I'm sitting down reading a book. And I know it's wrong to assume that somebody is, but I'll never forget this happening. I'm at Barnes and Nobles reading a book, minding my business. I honestly was probably like halfway through the book. I don't know. Biding my time. And this guy comes up to me, and I didn't notice at first. I was like, hey, you know what you're reading? I was like, oh, I'm reading such and such. What was I reading actually? It was some fantasy book. It was kind of garbage, but it looked interesting. Um, this guy was like, yo, what are you reading? So when I'm reading, I said it's okay. It's just I couldn't find anything else good. So that's cool. You've been here long? I'm like, yeah, I've been here for like an hour. So he's like, oh, you want to get something to eat? I'm like, what? I'm like, no, I'm okay, but thanks. I appreciate it. We exchanged names or whatnot and whatever else. And like, when people walk away, but they turn back at you and give you like that look,
Mm-hmm.
that was given to me, and I was like,
Oh,
this man was gay.
What kind of look? Like a
Not like
he's
turn around, glare side eye. It was kind of like turning around, like, hey, you're cute, and I was like,
like checking you out, kind of.
yeah.
Oh.
I was like, oh, I have nothing wrong with people I have friends that are gay, I have people that are lesbian, they're great people, they're hilarious. I absolutely love them because when you get with them, you joke with them, you treat them as friends. But like, if they are technically if they are lesbian friends, are dope, obviously, because they're basically one of the guys.
Mm-hmm.
But and they give like a different perspective because they are still a woman, but they're just lesbian.
mm-hmm.
But I'll never forget. And I'm like, is there something about me that just seems gay?
I had the same. I don't want to say problem, but for lack
I
of a
guess
better term, yeah, problem
situation.
situation, yeah. Um, it I well, I don't think I off the top of my head I can't think of a specific situation where a homosexual male has approached me. I can't think of a situation where that's happened. I'm sure it's probably happened and I just didn't realize it. It's mostly girls that think they have a gaydar and then they're just
Yeah.
completely wrong. I mean, I've heard of homosexual guys or bisexual guys, thinking I'm cute from one of my friends. They're like, "Hey, this guy thinks you're cute" or whatever.
Oh, I had that happen.
Yeah,
That happened on 4th of July for me. That was
this
interesting.
year.
Last year, technically, but yeah.
Oh yeah, well yeah, this past
It
year.
happened last year.
A whole year ago, stupid. Anyway,
Uh,
um, I've had that happen before, and I don't have any problem with it. I'm flattered that people find me attractive, man or woman, but it's always been women that have come up to me and asked me if I was gay. Like two times has it happened at work.
Oh.
There's
Oh.
not the same workplace, but like whenever I was at work, it's happened twice, and it's coworkers, so it's not like random customers or anything. It's coworkers.
Imagining a random customer coming up. Listen,
Yeah,
I need to know.
Do you like men?
there's this one girl that I worked with at Beefaroo, and it's kind of embarrassing because at the time I had kind of a thing for her. I just always thought she was kind of cute, and she's very
I'm sorry.
attractive.
I'm
Don't get me
sorry.
wrong.
I'm sorry. That is terrible.
Yeah.
that is terrible.
I mean, she didn't know that. I don't think she knows that now.
I hope she doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, I don't think she knows that now. It tells it to the internet.
Yeah. I just
Oh, well.
not thought of that. But honestly, if she hears it, I don't really care. It's whatever. She's a very attractive person.
That's nice.
But like, she. It was back when Brandon worked at Beefaroo. She was working with Brandon at Register, and I was in the back room getting some ice for the and of course this was before COVID when dining rooms were still completely open and people could get their own ice and whatnot. I was getting ice for the dining room for the ice machine, and she just kind of whips around the corner of like the little room that I'm in, and she goes, "Wait a minute, so you're not gay?" And I just looked at her kind of dumbfounded. I didn't know how to like process what just happened. I'm like, no. Uh, and she's like, you're like, you don't, like, are you completely sure? I'm like, yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure that's what she asked. And I'm like, I'm so confused. I was like, what? So apparently she was talking to Brandon, I think, and like she asked him, she's like, "Oh, so Tony's gay, right?" And he goes, no, I don't think so. And that's when she like she just had to go and ask me because I guess she was like 100% sure that I was gay. And in that moment, like I was just so dumbfounded. That was what it was like. I was first of all shocked that came out of nowhere. That question came out of nowhere. Second of all, that it was her, like completely dumbfounded that I wasn't gay. And third, like
You were shocked by her being
I was
shocked.
yeah. And third of all, like I'm trying to like process that information to try. I'm like thinking in my head as fast as I can. Like, how do I respond to this? Like, do I do do I be nice about it? Do I get like, am I supposed to be mad or something? Of course, I was just like confused when I when I
Ze-
answered it, and I was like,
There is
no.
zero problems with
And again, I
not
don't,
being upset about it.
I don't have a problem with like people thinking I'm gay. Like I don't have like this huge issue where I'm like completely offended, but like, you know,
There's zero problems with asking
there's
it. At least she asked.
right, yeah. I mean, eh,
Yeah, at least she
right,
asked without assuming the rest of the
Yeah.
time that you were.
right, yeah. And I'm glad she confirmed it with me, and she did actually ask at some point.
But just the fact that it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's
Tony,
just the
just
fact
imagine.
that like I was not expecting it at all. We didn't have a conversation about it at all. It just came out of nowhere, and it like it caught me off guard, and it shocked me. It happened another time, at my most recent job at Amazon. Um,
I
Amazon of all places. Why
didn't
are
know
people
about this
concerned
one.
about other people in Amazon?
well, it's because this girl I had talked to, it would
Oh, we
make
all make
sense.
our friends.
Like yeah, at a restaurant, you get close with your coworkers because
You
there's
see them
not.
every day.
Yeah, you see them every day, and there's not like a whole lot of people there.
I think that should be said about
But
most jobs.
well, yeah, with
Yeah,
most
for
jobs,
sure.
but well, I guess it depends. With Amazon, there's a lot of people there, and you will get to know the people that are in your section. But some people,
Don't talk.
at the place that I'm at, a lot of people like to do different things, because you have the freedom to do that. You have the freedom to choose what you do as long as there's enough people doing everything. There's like different sections that you can go to that you can choose. Like, oh, I want to do inbound today, or I want to scan today. Whatever. This girl I had talked to a few times, um, and there was one time I think the way she approached it was significantly more gentle than the way the other
Subtle.
person, yeah, the way the other person um asked that question. She came up to me and she's like, I have a question to ask, but I don't want to be like rude, or I don't want to offend you or anything. And right then I knew exactly
Immediately
what
knew what
I
she was about to
immediately
ask.
knew. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, no, go ahead. Like I won't get offended. It's okay. And she asked me, are you gay or do you like guys? Then I couldn't contain myself. I just started laughing. I was like, I knew you were gonna ask that.
You
But
should have just
yeah,
said no before she even asked.
Yeah. Like
yeah,
no.
Freak her
I
out.
should have been like, no, I'm not gay. But yeah, I like explained to her like what happened at my like what happened before the story that I just told before that one. I told her that story, And I was
That
like,
Tony guy,
yeah.
man,
I was
I
like,
don't know.
and I'm like, yeah.
Seems gay to me.
Apparently, a bunch of people think I'm gay, which it's not a huge like I don't have a huge problem with it at all. But like, it's just kind of is I just kind of I find it kind of weird that some people think that about me, or that's like a question for people, because like I've asked other people, people who are closer to me, I guess, and I asked, did you at any point think I was ever gay? Like, have you had any suspicion whatsoever? And they're like, no, not at all. I haven't really thought about that at all. And I'm like, okay,
Tony, do
interesting.
you have something to
It's
tell
like,
us? Are
no,
you gay?
no, I'm not gay. I would tell you
Oh,
if I was, but I'm
oh,
not.
thanks. My
Yeah.
opinion of you would completely change if you were.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He says yes.
Good
We
to
just
know.
both, Sam and I, disconnect from the Discord call.
Blink.
This is me coming out of the closet, guys. I'm gay.
Blink, ding, ding, ding.
Just
Uh,
all alone.
oh, yeah. We kick you out of junk drawer. This is Brian. I just read it, and we just
It's
bring
called
it.
junk now.
Yeah, it's just called junk. Tony was always the drawer. Okay, okay, guys, be real with me here. I've been really getting into this like new look lately, even though I don't go out as much, anyways. But tech wear, dope.
Techwear? What do you
Techwear?
mean by that?
Tech wear. Look up tech wear and look what it looks like. That type of style, I'm in love with at the moment. It's expensive, but I'm in love with it. Like it's kind of like almost like a
Oh.
cyberpunk look, but like not exactly. But like everything that they're wearing is technically useful. Like from the pants, it's like cargo pants,
Oh.
but the straps on it, you can actually make it tighter so it holds more stuff in the pockets.
Oh
And the
yeah.
jacket is like weather resistant and everything else. And the undershirt keeps you warm or whatever else. I'm like, dang, that
Yeah.
style though, that's sick.
Yeah, that shit looks cool. I love that kind of look, and also like apocalyptic dressing. If you
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
like like
Always.
like whenever you look up like apocalypse style clothing, you always see this like hooded cape thing, or like
Hooded cape.
it always
Like
has
a
a hood on
cowl?
it. It kind of it's like a I don't know what to call it. It's like a jacket that has a hood on it, but it's also like draping down past your legs. It's like, I
Kind of
don't
like an
know.
Assassin's Creed kind of
This is
thing.
like every time you look up like any apocalyptic wear or
Yeah, like an
wasteland,
assassin's cowl.
yeah, like that. You always
It
see
just has
that.
a tail on it.
Which I love that. I love that look.
Yeah, those are dope. Those are dope.
I've never bought one. I don't have one of those, but I would love to have one at some point in the future.
When they go on
My
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 strip,
style changes a lot. Um,
same.
like I
But there's stuff you always
remember
go back to though. You know
I
what I mean?
yeah I remember when I like in middle school, like when I first started actually dressing myself, I started to get into this like hipster fashion kind of look.
I respect it.
And then someone turned me in emo. With this one girl I had a huge crush on. And
Ah,
I'd already liked metal music
women,
at that
the
point.
biggest influence on men.
Yeah. Um, I had
uh,
I was already into rock music and metal music ever since I was a kid, so like I mean it kind of fit my aesthetic anyway. So like I turned emo when I was like I had this really bad emo phase in 8th grade and freshman year.
like you
After
have the whole
that,
swoop in the hair and everything.
yeah,
You
swoop in the
sounded
hair.
so disappointed when you said yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the swoop in the hair, the eyeliner, the many wristbands,
I
We have
never
so
understood how
many
wristbands
pictures.
classified as emo though. I mean, like, cause like a lot of styles consist of
but
multiple wristbands and stuff like that.
well, yeah, but if you were to see what I was talking about, you would agree. Like,
Oh,
not
I agree with you
yeah.
entirely.
It was like the spiked dog collar kind of.
Well, that yes, that and like band like wristbands. Like, do you know? It's like those rubber almost stretchy kind of wristbands. You know what I'm talking about, Brian?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. I had like a ton of those with like band/anime references, whatever it was from Hot Topic. I also had like the chain on my jeans, and I had like different colored jeans. I had like purple jeans, red jeans, but they were
Say,
like
Did you
a
have like
very
bright
wallet
emo
purple?
chains are
style.
practical.
Yeah.
I didn't even
Oh,
attach
yeah.
it to my wallet though. It was just like
Oh, well
a
then.
chain just
Oh.
for the aesthetic. I used to
Oh.
do this thing where I would put on suspenders, but like not wear
Hang
them
them.
like suspend. Yeah, I would
You'd hang
hang
them.
them. Yeah.
I mean, that's the style that people that I did for a long time though. I'd have suspenders and stuff, but I'd hang them. I wouldn't have them on me. Don't get me wrong. I put them on. I look fly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nah, but when I'd wear them, I'd have them down if I wanted to change the look. They come down. I roll my sleeves up. I unbutton my top button. And if I were really trying to spice it up, I'd take out my whatchamacallit, I'd untuck my front part of my shirt and leave the other one tucked in.
Yeah.
I thought I was cool in high school.
Yeah, and then after that was when I kind of like in high school I just kind of broke out of that, and I was like I was wearing just
You were
kind of whatever
finding
I wanted.
yourself.
I wore different things like sweater vests. I started wearing turtlenecks. Um, I liked the kind of preppy aesthetic, I guess I would
That's
say.
yeah. I
Mhm.
like the classier look though. Like I had a bunch of bow ties and like multiple colored socks. Like I still have a whole bunch like right now that
Yeah,
I like literally see.
yeah.
You
Like
know.
I had dress shoes. I had like
Oh yeah.
chinos. I don't know if you call them chinos, but
Cheetos.
um, yeah, and then like dress shirts sometimes,
Oh,
sweater.
I have so many colored dress shirts and
Yeah.
suit jackets too, man. So clean.
And
Love that
then
look.
my most recent like I guess quote unquote new like thing I got into was like a country aesthetic or like an outdoorsy aesthetic. So like flannels, uh slim straight jeans or like boot cut jeans with boots.
Solid.
Um
With
Yeah,
the fur.
yeah, jean jacket,
with the
the jean
fur.
yeah, the the jean Sherpas, and I had a cowboy hat that I would wear.
Oh, I was
I
looking
still
at her.
have that. I love. She hit the floor. Next thing you know,
Nah.
Shotty got low, low, low,
Low,
Oh,
low,
low,
low.
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 Low? She got low?
She got low.
She was sad.
She got
Anyways.
pretty
She
damn
was
low.
sad.
uh, anyway, unless you guys have anything else to talk about, I think that's a good spot to end the episode.
I do have one big thing for the audience to hear and for them to pay attention to. We will be going forward on focusing a lot more on social media platforms. We will be focusing more on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, believe it or not, one of the bigger social media platforms that are out there. That one of them will be running by each of us, but we'll still be running together. Of course, you'll see little snippets of what we want to post on there separately, but again, it's to coincide with Junk Drawer. I will have my own TikTok, of course. I'm going to do a lot of game related things on there. I hope that you guys participate in it. I'd really appreciate it. Include the audience and both you too. It would really help a lot, trying to get my stuff to grow and whatnot because I wanted to incorporate with Junk Drawer, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. But pay attention to that. Go follow us on TikTok. It's not officially set up yet. We're actually finishing that up pretty soon. I believe on the Instagram it is Junk Drawer OFI. You can look us up. It's pretty easy to find. If you can't, you can check us out on any other platform. I think we'll have it in the description down below. We just have to remember to do that. But then also on Twitter, it is just Junk Drawer. We're easy to find us. So we're happy that you guys are here. We really appreciated you guys tuning in. Just as always, thank you oh so much. I am Sam.
I'm Tony.
And I'm Brian.
Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Have a good one.